Welcome to this video on the Dutch Homicide Monitor. The Dutch Homicide Monitor is a database administered by researchers at Leiden University that includes detailed information on all homicides committed in the Netherlands since 1992. The database collects detailed information on about 25 characteristics of each of the homicides. As of June 2024, the Dutch Homicide Monitor contains more than 5,700 homicide cases and information on about 13,800 victims and suspected perpetrators. Originally, the Dutch Homicide Monitor was established in order to get a better understanding on the phenomenon of homicide in the Netherlands. Collecting such detailed information on homicide cases, victims, and perpetrators allows for a better understanding of certain trends, such as why domestic and disputes homicides have been steadily declining since the 90s. It also helps to demystify common misunderstandings about homicides and to inform the public, journalists, other researchers, and experts about the topic. Overall, the Dutch Homicide Monitor is geared to answer common questions about homicides. The first question that can be answered with the information collected in the Homicide Monitor is what happened? A description of the incident and the number of victims and perpetrators are registered to answer this question. Another common question is where and when did the homicide occur? The Dutch Homicide Monitor registers locations from the regional to the local level and the type of crime scene. For example, some homicides may take place in private locations, such as private homes, whilst others take place in public places, such as bars or restaurants. In addition, information on the day of the week and time of the day is collected. To answer the question how the homicide occurred, information on the modus operandi, the manner through which the homicide was committed, is collected. The Dutch Homicide Monitor distinguishes between 14 different modi operandi, from firearms and knives to physical violence, drowning, poisoning, and more. Another point of interest are the individuals involved in homicides, both victims as well as perpetrators. To understand which population groups may be more at risk of homicide victimization or offending, we collect information on the age, gender, profession, and cultural background of each victim and perpetrator. We also register whether either of the people involved in a homicide has been under the influence of certain substances and whether they have previously been involved in violent altercations. Another point of interest for researchers, journalists, and the public alike is why did the homicide occur? To that end, the Dutch Homicide Monitor includes information on the relationship between victim and perpetrator, the motive of the perpetrator, and the context in which the homicide occurred. Through these categories, we can, for example, distinguish between homicides committed in a context of organized crime activities that have a financial motive and a dispute homicide between neighbors. Finally, the Dutch Homicide Monitor collects information on whether the perpetrator is known and/or apprehended by the police, and the stage of the case in the criminal justice system. Based on this information, we can study and compare solved and unsolved homicide cases or understand why some perpetrators may not be convicted in court. All of this information is collected and combined from 6 different sources. First, information from public sources is collected, such as the annual homicide list by Elsevier magazine, newspaper articles, and public court rulings. After, non-public sources are used to verify and update this information. Here, special permission was granted to the researchers to use information from the Dutch National Police, data from the Public Prosecution Office, criminal justice records, and forensic mental health reports. Not all of these sources are always available for each case. For example, if no suspect or perpetrator has been apprehended, the Public Prosecution Office will not have any information. Nonetheless, through combining all of these sources together, the Dutch Homicide Monitor is able to create a detailed, almost complete, and reliable picture of homicide in the Netherlands. On an international scale, the Dutch Homicide Monitor is part of the European Homicide Monitor Network. This network consists of homicide researchers throughout the European Union, who all gather the same information, using the same or similar types of sources and definitions. This allows for the unique opportunity to compare characteristics of homicides across Europe. Originally, the European Homicide Network was set up by researchers from Finland, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, but has since extended to other countries as well, such as Denmark and Sweden. Currently, pilot studies are run to apply the same system in non-European countries such as South Africa and the Dutch Caribbean. Want to know more about the Dutch European Homicide Monitor? Visit our website at Leiden University or take a closer look at the European Homicide Monitor Coding Manual, which entails all details about the information that is collected.